Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. So for this week's review, we are going to be doing a first impressions on some skincare from a company called Yepoda. These were kind of gifted to me by the brand themselves. This video is not sponsored, however, they did gift it as I said. But before we jump in, I just wanted to introduce you to my new puppy Coco. Isn't he so cute? He's literally the goodest and dreamiest boy. We've had him for just about a week and he is keeping me up at night, I can't lie. Anyway, jumping into the video, first thing we're going to do is get that hair out of our faces. So as you can see, this is my brand new brush that I am still not 100% sure about. It's one of those ones that when you brush your hair through, it doesn't get caught on any of the tangles. The brush moves with your hair rather than your hair moving with the brush, if that makes sense. Just that little bit of extra flexibility, just to really make sure that you're not damaging any of your hair as you go along. When the hair is well and truly out of the way, we're going to give the pup a good old quick snuggle before going on to my first cleanse of the evening. So with this cleanse, we are going to be using the Yepoda Calm Balm. This is something that has been enriched with olive and coconut oil to help remove your makeup. It's great for a deep clean as well as nourishing at the same time. And all of the Yepoda products have not only when to use them, how often to use them, and how to use them on every single product packaging. So first of all, I'm going to give it a good old scoop with the little spatula that I got. As you can see, very ASMR, giving a good old sniff, and I can't say that I love the smell. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not really a fan of coconut though, so that's just me being quite picky, but I know that coconut oil is great for makeup removal. I used to use straight up coconut oil to remove my makeup. It's great for so many different things, but that is one that I used to do. However, it made my skin really oily afterwards, so that is why it's so important to do 2 cleanses, especially with something like an oil-based remover. And then emulsifying it with some water just to help really break down that product. And as you can see, the results speak for themselves. Look at how it has removed that makeup off my face. You can tell that my face is not tanned, and there is no way of hiding it, especially with these products. Really just going around the eyes, trying to not let the pup lick my face or the flannel. He absolutely loves a label on anything, so anyone that meets Coco, beware of your labels. Now for cleanse number 2, we're going to be using the Double Bubble Salicylic Acid and Pomegranate Cleansing Foam. This is not only good for cleansing your face, but also it has a gentle exfoliant in there as well. It has, again, the same instructions that tell you when you can use them, and this one says morning and evening. Give a couple of pumps on the old face, as you can see, looking like a unicorn. Coco is absolutely loving it. However, my face is saying otherwise. The consistency is really light and fluffy on the skin. Doesn't feel exfoliating actually whatsoever, and it's really great for getting rid of that film on your skin that you can sometimes get from using oil-based removers. Next up, we have what Yepoda recommends is phase 3, which is the Mist Have Hyaluronic Acid and Lavender Face Mist. This is one to help give you the quick spurt of hydration in your skin, and to be honest, I can't lie, this isn't really something that I would do in my normal skincare routine, just because I'd usually go over to either moisturizer or serums, which I am here. On the left, I have the Repair Hero Serum, and on the right, I have the Spot Stop Serum. Great for both different things, however, I definitely need both in my life. But you should only use one of these things at a time and maybe alternate them, for example. As you can see, my skin is not looking the best, so I opted for the Spot Stop Serum. It's a really thick formula which I rub between my fingers and then apply it to the rest of my face, really getting into the areas that need it the most. Coco is giving it a good old sniff and he says he likes the smell. However, it's not for dogs, so I had to flip him around so he couldn't lick my face. So skip forward to the next day and jump scare. I'm not looking my finest, but I have just washed my face and I do need some moisturizer, and we've got 2 different options for this morning. First up is the Make My Day cream, and then we also have the Yepoda Daylight Moisturizer, both of which I have used on different occasions before this video and are great for different things. I found that the Daylight Moisturizer is great as a skin prep before makeup, however the Make My Day cream is great for a no makeup day, which is what I'm going for in this part of the video. Really hydrating and thick in consistency. It also has that green tone to it, which I'm hoping would neutralize some of my redness. However, that was wrong because I still look a little bit like a Tommy T here. But that's not the moisturizer's fault, it's because I picked that spot that I was having a look at last night. I really couldn't help myself, so apologies. And hello again, I am back after a shower later on in that same day, and I thought it would be good to do some TLC for the skin. So we're going to be using the Cetox User Fruit Vitamin C Mud Mask, which is great for brightening, mattifying and detoxifying the skin. I'm using this in the evening as my step 4, and they recommend that you use this once to twice a week. I'm going to be honest, I'm not really somebody that uses masks very often through my skincare routine, but I thought I would give it a go just because I've got a lot of underskin impurities that are just sort of lingering and won't come to the surface. So giving that brush a good old scoop into the pot and then wiping that mud mask all over the surface of my skin, making sure that there's a thick enough layer for it to really have an effect on my skin, as well as making sure that it's not too heavy so that it actually does dry down. Giving it a good old sit for 10 minutes and then boom, we're back. Quickest 10 minutes of your life. Putting the flannel into some warm water and then patting it all over my face. This just really helps loosen up that dried product on your skin to avoid irritation. I find that whenever I really aggressively rub my skin to get a face mask off, especially if it's an exfoliating face mask, it just really irritates my skin, and that is not what I want from a face mask. I want my face to be nice and clean and not angry, but as you can see, we're all nice and bright. Things like this you definitely need to be consistent with, because using a face mask once isn't going to cure your life. But after I wash that off, I then go in with the Repair Hero Serum. This is one that you use for replenishing and hydrating. Apparently it's supposed to slow aging as well, which who wouldn't want that? So I give a couple of drops on to my hand, light consistency, and then pat it and gently rub into my face as well as down my neck, because as I said before, no one wants a wrinkly neck. This serum I really liked because it helped make my skin feel really like plumpy and rejuvenated, especially after that face mask. And as you'll see, look how bouncy my skin is. So I let it sit for a couple of minutes and then I go in with my moisturizer, which is the Midnight Magic Lavender Sleeping Mask. This one again is nourishing, soothing and supposed to be slow and aging. So treating myself to a generous few pumps of that product, and as you can see, it's really thick in consistency, more like a mask than a moisturizer. A lot heavier. If that's not something you're into, then I totally understand, but for me, I need a lot of moisture after I've done kind of like a lot of washing of the face like we do with face masks, just really getting it into all of the nooks and crannies of my face, and again down that neck, honey. Then the last step of the night is putting my hair in exactly the same hairstyle I've worn for 3 consecutive days in a row, ready for bed. Now it's the following evening, and as you can see, I've had a good old scrub-a-dub-dub using the Nightlight Moisturizer just to give my skin that extra pump of hydration, because as I said, showered, washed the old face and the hair, thank God, because you know I haven't washed it for at least 4 days. With little pup, I haven't had a lot of free time. That's all good because Yepoda hooked me up with the goods, which is the Depuff Espresso Depuffing Caffeinated and Green Tea Eye Patches. You can use these morning and night as a step 4, and your girl was so happy to see these, I can't lie. Kept them in the fridge so they were nice and chilled, looking a bit gloopy doopy in the tub, but they honestly were my favourite thing of all the products I used. Bit hard to get out of the tub, as you saw from my little eye scrunch. Also as well, feel like I'm going to divide the nation with the way that I put my eye patches on. Some say that you put them this way and some say you do them the opposite way, but this is how I do them because it just sits on my eyes a bit better. And then setting a timer for 15 minutes to let them sit so I can watch some TikTok, and the 15 minutes is up quicker than ever. One thing I will say, eye patches, they stay on very, very, very sticky. So that was what I was doing then, shaking my head. I wasn't pretending to be a dog. The eye patches, there you go, see how sticky. Incredible. You could literally go about your daily routine with those. But yeah, that was my first impressions on the Yepoda skincare. Obviously with any skincare you do need to use it consecutively over a period of time. But thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye guys!